you can become more. His story is a mirror for every dreamer, every struggler, every fighter. And in that mirror, we see ourselves stronger, braver, unstoppable. Jackie Chan's life teaches us that no matter how broken the beginning may look, the ending can still be written with fire, courage, and greatness. He was born in hardship, raised in poverty, shaped by pain, but none of these chains could hold him back. He fell more times than we can count, yet every fall only made him sharper. Every wound only carved deeper strength into his soul. And that is the lesson his life shouts at us. Your struggle is not your prison. Your struggle is your training ground. Every sleepless night, every doubt, every scar is preparing you for a future you cannot yet imagine. Jackie Chan was never given the crown. He earned it with blood and broken bones, with sacrifice and endless hours of discipline. He faced rejection. He faced ridicule. He faced walls that seemed impossible to climb, but he refused to stop climbing, and because he refused, the walls fell before him. He shows us that greatness is not about perfection. It is about persistence. You don't need to be flawless to be unforgettable. You just need to keep going when others give up. Jackie's body carries the marks of 1,000 battles, but each scar is a medal. Each bruise is a trophy. Each broken bone is a reminder that victory is never free. He embraced pain as his teacher, failure as his mentor, and struggle as his constant companion. And because he did, the world remembers him not just as an actor, not just as a fighter, but as a symbol of resilience. His story whispers to every heart that feels tired, to every soul that feels small, to every dreamer who thinks the mountain is too high. You are stronger than you know, braver than you believe, tougher than the world expects. You can bend, but you will not break. You can fall, but you will not stay down. You can stumble, but you will rise again. Jackie Chan's legacy is proof that destiny is not written by luck. It is written by relentless effort. Imagine a young boy who had nothing, no wealth, no comfort, no guarantee of tomorrow, yet he dared to dream. He dared to fight for that dream when the world laughed. He dared to keep going when the road seemed endless. He dared to keep believing when even hope seemed out of reach. And today, that same boy has become an icon whose name is spoken in every corner of the globe. That is the power of refusing to quit, the power of refusing to let circumstances define who you are. Jackie Chan's life shouts the truth we all need to hear. Greatness is not a gift. It is a choice. Every morning you wake up, you are handed that choice. Do you surrender to weakness, or do you rise with strength? Do you listen to fear, or do you trust your faith? Do you accept failure as final, or do you use it as fuel? His story is the answer. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. Pain is not the end of your journey. It is the fire that forges your spirit. Struggle is not a curse. It is the path to greatness. Jackie Chan never waited for perfect conditions because he knew perfect conditions never come. He worked with what he had, where he was, with all his heart. He used every drop of sweat, every ounce of strength, every moment of his life to prove that nothing is impossible if you refuse to stop trying. And that is why his life connects with ours, because deep down we all carry battles, we all carry scars, we all carry dreams that seem too heavy to hold. But his story says, hold on anyway, fight anyway, believe anyway, because the day you refuse to give up is the day you already win. Look into his story and you will see your own reflection, the reflection of someone who may be tired, but not finished, someone who may be hurting, but not broken, someone who may be doubted, but not defeated. That reflection is your reminder that you can become more, that inside you lives an unstoppable spirit that no failure can erase, no fear can silence, no obstacle can destroy. Jackie Chan lived his truth through sweat and sacrifice. Now it is our turn. Stand tall, rise again, chase your dream, and remember, you are stronger than you think, braver than you feel, and more unstoppable than you could ever imagine. Jackie Chan's story does not end with fame. It begins with what he chose to do with that fame. Many achieve success, but few carry it with humility, discipline, and purpose the way he did. For Jackie, being a legend was never about the spotlight. It was about the responsibility of inspiring others. He knew that the world was watching, that millions of young dreamers were looking to him, not just for entertainment, but for proof that greatness is possible. And so, he carried himself as more than an actor, more than a fighter, more than a celebrity. He carried himself as a servant of hope, a messenger of resilience, a voice for every broken soul who needed to be reminded that strength lives within them. Even after decades of breaking records, performing dangerous stunts, and earning global recognition, Jackie still trained like a beginner, still humbled himself like a student, still worked like a man chasing a dream. That is the heart of his greatness. Never allowing success to weaken his hunger, never allowing applause to replace effort, never allowing fame to blind him from the truth that the real victory is staying grounded. He never hid his scars, never concealed his pain, because he understood that real power comes from showing the world that you can bleed and still keep fighting, that you can fall and still rise stronger. Jackie knew that his journey was not just for himself. It was for every generation that would come after him. He wanted his story to be a light in the darkest nights, a reminder in the toughest battles, a flame that would never die out. That is why he embraced the pain instead of running from it. That is why he welcomed failure instead of fearing it. That is why he gave more than what was expected instead of settling for less. His legacy screams the truth that the world often forgets. Greatness is not about what you achieve for yourself. It is about how your struggle lifts others, how your story awakens courage in hearts that have forgotten how to fight. Jackie's career became a battlefield of lessons. Every movie was not just entertainment, but a testimony of persistence. Every stunt was not just action, but a sermon of sacrifice. Every performance was not just art, but a declaration of resilience. He taught us that dreams do not work unless you do, that there is no elevator to success. You have to climb every step, bruise every hand, and sweat through every night. And the higher you climb, the harder the challenges become, but also the clearer your vision gets. Jackie's vision was always bigger than money, bigger than fame, bigger than applause. His vision was to leave behind a legacy of hope, a blueprint of perseverance, a roadmap of courage that anyone, anywhere in the world could follow. When the cameras turned off, when the lights faded, when the crowd went home, Jackie Chan was still the same fighter, still the same dreamer, still the same man who knew that the real battle is within. And that is what makes his story eternal. Because life will test us all in ways we cannot predict, with pain, with betrayal, with disappointment, with failure. But Jackie's journey tells us that no matter how hard the storm always passes, and those who endure it rise unshakable. You're not defined by what happens to you. You're defined by what you do with what happens to you. Pain can break you, or pain can build you. Fear can paralyze you, or fear can fuel you. Struggle can chain you, or struggle can free you. Jackie chose to let it build him, fuel him, free him, and that choice is what made him legendary. His life stands as proof that excuses are easy, but victory is earned. The world is full of people who quit when it gets hard, but the ones we remember, the ones who inspire us, the ones who change history are those who refuse to quit, who choose to keep fighting, who embrace the impossible and turn it into the inevitable. Jackie Chan is remembered because he refused to stop. And his story is not just about him, it is about us. It is about every person listening, every person who feels tired, every person who wants to give up. His story is a challenge to your heart, a call to your soul, a voice that tells you right now, don't you dare quit. Don't you dare surrender your dream. Don't you dare believe the lie that you are not enough. Because you are enough. You are stronger than your scars, tougher than your failures, greater than your fears. The same fire that carried Jackie through poverty, through pain, through failure, lives inside you. And if you choose to rise, if you choose to keep going, if you choose to refuse defeat, then nothing in this world can stop you. Jackie Chan's legacy is not in the movies he made. but in the millions of fighters his story created. His true success is not measured by box office numbers, but by the courage he awakened in hearts across the globe. And now, the baton is in your hands. His story is a mirror, but what you see in that mirror is not just him. It is you, your struggle, your fight, your destiny. You are not just a dreamer, you are a warrior. You are not just a struggler, you are a survivor. You are not just a fighter, you are unstoppable. So rise, no matter how many times you fall. Believe, no matter how many times you doubt. Fight, no matter how many times you bleed. Because in the end, greatness does not belong to the strongest or the fastest. It belongs to those who refuse to quit. Jackie Chan refused, and that is why the world remembers him. Now it is your turn to write your story, your turn to carve your legacy, your turn to prove that nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop an unstoppable spirit.